Okay, so I've just named this video the pandemic of retarded sleep advice because there's just a pandemic of retarded sleep advice. That's really all there is. I'm not even so much reacting to insomnia advice videos anymore. I'm just like commenting. I'm going to move that away because I think that'll help the mic maybe be a little better. But I'm just reacting to retarded sleep advice. Like I'm just literally reacting to complete idiocy at this point. Let's see some more idiocy.
What keeps you up at night? Pondering deep questions.
This is what causes insomnia. They're talking about insomnia, which is a medical condition.
Excitement about a big trip? Or is it stress about unfinished work?
All of those would not be insomnia.
An upcoming test? Or a dreaded family
None of those qualify as insomnia.
gathering? For many people, this stress is temporary, as its cause is quickly resolved. But what if the very thing keeping you awake was stress about losing?
Then you'd be a lunatic, because I've never met anyone who that's happened to, ever.
Sleep. This seemingly
I've talked to hundreds of insomniacs, and that's never, ever happened to anyone I've talked to.
unsolvable loop is at the heart of insomnia.
No, it's not. The heart of insomnia is that you don't understand what the heck is causing it, and you keep giving people horrible advice that doesn't work.
The world's most common sleep disorder. Almost anything can cause the occasional restless night, a snoring partner, physical pain, or emotional distress. And extreme sleep deprivation like jet lag can throw off your biological clock.
They call that extreme sleep deprivation. And they don't even know what insomnia is. Like, it's just retarded. Welcome to retarded sleep advice. This is what it is, the pandemic of retarded sleep advice. It's just a pandemic of, like, what is it about sleep that makes it so tempting for idiots who don't understand insomnia to give their opinion on it? Like, I think it's because people, like, everyone sleeps for the most part, so they just think they're good at it. Like, they're like, oh, you can't sleep and I can sleep, so I must be smart and good at sleeping, and you must be dumb and bad at sleeping. Let me tell you how to sleep, dumb person. It's like, no, that's not what's going on at all. You're just an idiot who doesn't understand what insomnia is. It's like, oh, the person does not know how to pee. Let me tell you how to pee. It's like they can't pee. There's something wrong. They don't, like, not know how to pee. People, like, don't not know how to pee. In the same way, like, baby, you just fall asleep.
Wreaking havoc on your sleep schedule. But in most cases, sleep deprivation is short-term. Eventually,
If it does, then you don't have insomnia.
exhaustion catches up with all of us. However, some long-term conditions like respiratory disorders, gastrointestinal problems, and many others can overpower fatigue. And as sleepless nights pile up, the bedroom can start to carry association.
No, it's just that the problem causing the sleepless nights wasn't addressed. It's like throwing a... Oh my god. It's like someone's like, why is there glass on the floor? It's like, well, no one picked it up. Okay, but how did it get there?
Of restless nights, racked with anxiety. Come bedtime, insomniacs are stressed.
Insomniacs are always stressed.
So stressed, their brains hijack the stress response system,
No, they just can't sleep.
flooding the body with fight, flight, or freeze chemicals. Cortisol and adrenocorticotropic hormones.
No, because I've taken literal drugs. Like, I've taken, like, so many drugs that block all of those hormones and neurotransmitters, and I still didn't sleep, so that's not what's going on, because if it was that, then the drugs would work, which they didn't.
Course through the bloodstream, increasing heart rate and blood pressure, and jolting the body into hyperarousal. In this condition, the brain is hunting for potential threats, making it impossible to ignore any slight discomfort or nighttime noise. And when insomniacs finally do fall asleep, the quality of their rest is compromised.
Oh my god.
Our brain's primary source of energy is cerebral glucose, and in healthy sleep, our metabolism slows to conserve this glucose for waking hours. But PET studies show the adrenaline that prevents sleep for insomniacs also speeds up their metabolisms. While they sleep, their bodies are working overtime, burning through the brain's supply of energy-giving glucose. This symptom of poor sleep leaves insomniacs waking in a state of exhaustion, confusion, and stress, which starts the process all over again. When these cycles of stress and restlessness last several months, they're diagnosed as chronic insomnia. And while insomnia rarely leads to death, its chemical mechanism...
I think it actually does commonly lead to death. There are a lot of studies that insomnia is one of the greatest predictors of suicide. So that's not the case. It often leads to death.
...are similar to anxiety attacks found in those experiencing depression and anxiety. So suffering from any one of these conditions increases your risk of experiencing the other two. Fortunately, there are ways to break the cycle of sleeplessness. Managing the stress that leads to hyperarousal is one of our best understood treatments for insomnia, and good sleep practices can help rebuild your relationship with bedtime. Make sure your bedroom is dark and comfortably cool to minimize threats during hyperarousal. Only use your bed for sleeping, and if you're restless, leave the room and tire yourself out with relaxing activities like reading, meditating, or journaling. Regulate your metabolism by setting consistent resting and waking times to help orient your body's biological clock.
They just tell you to wake up. They just contradict themselves. They're like, stay up if you have
with relaxing
insomnia.
Activities like reading, meditating,
Sit
or
in
journaling.
bed if you have
Regulate
insomnia.
your metabolism by setting consistent resting
They're
and waking
schizophrenic.
times to help
You should
orient
make them a video on how to fix schizophrenia.
to your body's biological clock. This clock, or circadian rhythm, is also sensitive to light, so avoid bright lights at night to help tell your body that it's time for sleep. In addition to these practices, some doctors prescribe medication to aid sleep, but there aren't reliable medications that help in all cases. And over-the-counter sleeping pills can be highly addictive, leading to withdrawal that worsens symptoms. But before seeking any treatment, make sure your sleeplessness is actually due to insomnia.
These people are so unhelpful.
Approximately 8% of patients diagnosed with chronic insomnia are actually suffering from a less common genetic problem called delayed sleep phase disorder, or DSPD. People with DSPD have a circadian rhythm significantly longer than 24 hours, putting their sleeping habits out of sync with traditional sleeping hours. So while they have difficulty falling asleep at a typical bedtime, it's not due to increased stress. And given the opportunity, they can sleep comfortably on their own delayed schedule. Our sleeping and waking cycle is a delicate balance, and one that's vital to maintain for our physical and mental well-being. For all these reasons, it's worth putting in some time and effort to sustain a stable bedtime routine.
So they're just, again, they're so condescending. It's like, you haven't really tried to fix it. Whatever, I don't know. These videos, let me know if this helps you guys, because this is just so frustrating for me just to watch the idiocy.
But try not to lose any sleep over it. For more tips on how to get a better night's